welcome back to the My Muse. You're here with me, Ese Kanayo. If you're new, hello, welcome to my channel. I'm a final year psychology and cognitive neuroscience student at the University of Nottingham. And I'm an aspiring clinical psychologist. I make videos about my journey to a career in psychology. So thanks for tuning in. If you're not subscribed yet but you're still watching and you want to be psychologist, you want to be counselor, you need any kind of advice or tips about getting through your degree or A-levels, whatever it is, making career choices related to psychology, then you know what to do. Click the button, the subscribe button, and click the notification bell so that you don't miss any updates from me. So as you guys can tell from the title, I know. I'm so happy because I got an offer to do the master's course that I applied for, and today I'm going to tell you a bit about the course I applied for, why I applied for the course, because I do understand that a lot of aspiring clinical psychologists, you guys know that we do not necessarily need to do a master's to get into clinical psychology. We just need a 3-year undergrad or 4-year undergrad and then to do the 3-year doctorate. So why, Essay, did you do a master's? Why did you go for a master's? What's wrong with you? I'm going to explain it today. So I applied for early intervention in psychosis at King's College, London. There are many reasons that I decided to apply for this specific course. It was also the only course I applied for, by the way. So if I didn't get into this course, guys, I would be really upset, but I would be looking for work because I kind of thought about it in this way. I was like, if I'm going to do a master's, I need to make sure I really want to do it, because at this point, it's not compulsory for the next step, which is, you know, things gearing towards clinical psychology. Anyway, decided to do it because I'm really interested in psychosis. Didn't learn much about it, haven't learned much about it formally in my degree. It relates a bit to the research project I've chosen for my, dissertation at the end of the 3 years. What else? It's very practical. So early intervention in psychosis is a subfield in clinical psychology, and throughout the course you learn the theory, the practical ways to be involved in that kind of system, and the bingo hot fresh roast chicken dinner of the course, the most important element of the course, is the fact that you get a placement halfway through the year. So placements run from I think it's the end of April or mid-April to August, and it's a 2-day-a-week placement in the NHS SLAM, which is South London and Maudsley Trust, and that is a very, very, very good and renowned hospital for these sorts of specialties, mental health services and stuff. So I really, really wanted to get into the course, and a lot of it was related to the placement it offered. A lot of other courses were really good options, like the mental health studies as well that King's offers, the psychological therapies master's course at Queen Mary. They're all really, really, really good options as well, but some of them I didn't want to apply for because the type of placement was purely observational, so I wouldn't be able to use any practical skills, or it's a situation where you're meant to find the placement yourself. And banking on myself, I know I don't really have contacts within the NHS like that. I don't think I would have been able to create this sort of placement for myself. So yeah, I was really happy when I got an offer for this course for that reason. It definitely will help me with the practical experience you need for clinical, and then also I get another opportunity to do a research project, so to build more on my research skills as well. Those are the reasons that I chose to do this course. Now, of course, you don't need to, get your practical and research skills from a specific master's course. This is just the route that I have preferred to take. Notice when I was mentioning all the different types of master courses to do, they're all London universities. So there's also a practical element for me. I come from London, born and raised in London, my family's in London. According to financial situations, it just wouldn't be the smartest option for me to do a master's course away from my family, having to pay for another accommodation, because you can't do full-time work whilst you're living in your own place. Like, it's better if you are going to go into full-time work, rent out your own place, because then you can afford to live by yourself. But I would not have that option, so it needed to be in London so that I could commute and basically live at home. back with the fam. So yeah, those are pretty much all the reasons I decided to apply for a master's, to be honest. I have high expectations of the course. It's part of the IOPPN, which is the Institute of Psychiatry, Psychology and Neuroscience department at King's, and it's like a really good department, you know, globally speaking. So I have high expectations, and I'm gonna be, you know, very open and transparent with my experience when I do begin this September 2020. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna be a student for another year, and this time is gonna be harder than ever. So everybody, please wish me some luck. Yeah, pray for me. Thank you. Thanks. I'm gonna need it, honestly. Yeah, so how did I apply to the course? How can you apply to a master's course if you want to do a master's? This should pretty much apply to everyone. It shouldn't just be for those of you who want to do a career in psychology in the future. So the first thing I had to do was do thorough research on what each of these master courses offered. I noticed that King's College, UCL, Queen Mary, there were all these different universities. Even Edinburgh was looking at before I realized that, hey, SA, you need to finance your accommodation if you don't live in London. So I was just looking at all the courses and what they offered. And of course, there's more variety of master's courses than there are undergrads, so it can be quite overwhelming. One thing that helped me was narrowing down by location. So even if I found a really good master's course in Warwick, for example, which I did find, I wouldn't apply for it because I wasn't looking into paying for accommodation in Warwick. So yeah, I would recommend doing that first. Narrow down your location. Think about, can you afford to rent in London if you want to do a master's in London, but maybe not live with your family or you don't have family there. Think about whether you can afford to rent whatever city you choose. So yeah. And then after that, I kind of created not an Excel sheet, but a Word document for the master's courses that offered a certain type of criteria. So I knew I was looking for something new. So it couldn't be like a topic that I had done in undergrad, because I wouldn't really feel like I was getting much from the course. So it had to be about a new topic related to psychology that I didn't learn much in undergrad. And then the placement was also very important for me. You need to offer some kind of placement. And at that, the placement, I then created more criteria, which helped me narrow down the choices of masters to choose from. I said, you know, for myself, I don't want the placement to be purely observational, that like kind of like shadowing, things like that. I also decided I was only going to apply for masters that were 1 year long, because the way student finance in the UK works for those of us who've already done a 3-year undergrad is you get 1 more year of funding, and the maximum is 10,000. You may not even get up to £10,000. So I knew that if I do a 2-year master's course, it's going to be even more expensive. So it had to be a 1-year course, even if it was so good. And there's so many really good 2-year master courses like MRESs and stuff. I wanted to do MRES that UCL offered, and you go to Chicago and you do like research on children and stuff like that for, I think, like developmental psychology. Sounded really amazing, but the financial situation wouldn't work for me. So I couldn't apply for that, but it's fine. You know, we will have those opportunities in the future. So yeah, that's the first bit of criteria: doing your research, creating your own criteria of what you want. Don't let people influence your criteria, because obviously this is what you want of it. For those of us who are literally, you know, you just want to do clinical psychology in the future, you know you don't have to do this master's, so don't be too strict on the criteria that the master's course needs to meet. Make sure it's yours. Make sure you like the topic for yourself. Like for me, psychosis is a yes. For somebody else, psychosis is a hell to the no. And that's fine. After we've done the whole research side of things, you then want to look on the website for the entry requirements. So for the most part, you need to make sure you're on track for a 2-1 or a 2-2. Some courses, they don't mind if you apply to the masters and you're on track for a 2-2. But you want to make sure that you're actually making the grades, and realistically you're going to come out with a degree grade that will let you study at that university. That's most of the requirements. And then the non-academic side of things is usually what type of work experience do you have when you apply for the course, and the personal statement. So you would be talking about your work experience in a personal statement and a CV. Some courses ask for CV, mine did. I gave the CV, I don't think they read it nor cared, but I handed in the CV anyway. So for different master's courses, the criteria is going to be different. Make sure you look at the website for your year of entry as well, because year in, year out, things can change. We don't know, we don't make these rules, do it. So for my year, applying January 2020, I needed to do a 4,000 character personal statement, and the only criteria for that was to outline why I wanted to do the course and what my goals were. So for me, that was very broad, because you can split it into short-term goals, long-term goals. The goals I have for doing the course, straight after the course, and in 5-10 years time. I talked about all those things in my personal statement. And then for the why I want to do the course, I was very honest, but I tried to put a twist on it. So I talked about race differences in schizophrenia and how my research project is about that. And, you know, I kind of want to do the course because I want to be able to focus on those side of things. For everybody's different. Maybe you have a more personal experience. Maybe a family member was diagnosed with schizophrenia or something. You can talk about it in your personal statement. And of course, using good English. At this point of life, guys, we've already applied to university once. We know how a personal statement works. You don't need to go so far into the basics. You don't need to talk about, okay, why did you choose your psychology undergrad? Because that's irrelevant. Now you need to focus on the masters. Why this specific master's course? And just take it from there. I received such good advice from people that I reached out to or reached out to me as I was applying for the course. So thank you so much. Those of you guys, you know who you are. I'm not sure if you want me to say your names in public or on my platform, but thank you so much to those of you guys who helped me, reached out, gave me information. Even those of you already on the course for this year, graduating this year, thank you so much. One really amazing tip that I received that I think is quite an interesting one, and you wouldn't immediately know that this could really help you when you're applying for your master's course, is when you are showing the type of work experience you've done and you're relating it to, you know, how it's going to help you on the course, what your goals are and all that stuff. You need to kind of prove that you have really looked into this specific course at this specific university, and this course is for you. You want to prove that you've done a lot of research before you applied, because a lot of people apply to things and they're not because it's tailored to them, but just because they want the offer, they want the ability to choose the course if the time comes. One piece of advice I got of how to deal with that is to go onto the university webpage, look at the different people who do research or lecture you for the master's course you've applied for, look at the papers that they've published, and try and evaluate how you can relate that to a potential research project you would want to do with them, and put that in your personal statement. I did that, and I feel like that really took my personal statement up a notch. It really showed that, hey, I've researched this university in depth. I'm not just doing this off the bat. And also, hey, this is why I want to go to this university, because this specific person works here and I can work with them potentially, and, you know, engage in all these other subtopics within the course and blah, 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 blah. So definitely do that. I think that's a really, really good way to show that you've really thought about this and you have specific goals, not just general, oh, it would be nice to be a clinical psychologist, you know, this course has helped other people get there, maybe it'll help me. You want to go even more specific than that. So like maybe someone published some research on children in care, for example, and their risk for developing psychosis. That was perfect for me, because I have done some work experience as a support worker for young people and children who have left care and then become homeless, and then, you know, we provide accommodation for them. So that was perfect for me to just create a little link between myself, my experiences, my research project goals for the course, and another lecturer that works there. And of course, finally, another piece of advice that really helped me is whatever they tell you on the website to do, do it. So if they tell you, I want you to focus on what your goals are, I want you to tell me why you want to do the course, after every paragraph of that personal statement must link back to a goal, or it must link back to why you want to do the course. Don't go off on a tangent and think that they're tricking you, because that's what I would have thought if it wasn't for another person's advice who just completed the course. She told me that you don't want to just basically show off. You don't want to just say, oh, well, I've done this experience, I can do this, I can do that. You kind of want to show that you need the course, that you are academically able to do it, but then you also need the course. You see, I need to acquire these skills to help me in this formal work experience I've had. You know, you want to take it from that approach as opposed to just showing them that you've done all this work experience. It doesn't really relate to why you need to do the course, or any future goals that you may have. And of course, you know, tailor it. You know, maybe your course is not asking for your personal statement to outline your goals and why you want to do the course. Maybe it's something different or a more specific set of criteria. Follow it through and through and make sure every single paragraph links back to those key entry requirement details they give you for your personal statement. So those are my honest tips that I feel really helped me to get an offer for the master's course. Oh yes, generally speaking, you want to apply as early as possible. Sometimes your statement is perfect, it's excellent, but you applied too late. So really think ahead. You know, if you're thinking about doing a master's next year, you know, think about research into when the applications open and apply as soon as possible. So yeah, if you guys liked today's video and you found it helpful or interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Comment below if you are doing a master's course, have done a master's course related to psychology or anything, and let's have a conversation there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.